didn't mean to loop that. That was an accident. Hello, everyone. Welcome to In the Cantina with OHCATRINA, a live Star Wars show where we delve into the hyperspace hyperfocuses of the creative fans that make our community so special. I am so excited this week because I have a very special guest here today. Silver, aka Star Wars Thrifting, is here. How are you doing, Silver?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm doing great. Just it's uneventful Monday, but I'll take an uneventful Monday from an eventful Monday, I guess. So I'm having a ball.
Absolutely. I fully agree with that one. We're here to talk about Silver's amazing Star Wars thrifting adventures and her collection. So I'm really excited to have you here because you are I don't know. I don't know what your relationship with them is, but like you are like the second coming of Rancho Obi-Wan to me. So like this is very, very exciting for me. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
hyped.
it's funny that you say that. I started to volunteer for Rancho Obi-Wan, so I'm actually heading there. Yeah, so I'm part of the volunteer team, which I was really fortunate, extremely fortunate to even have this experience. You and I,
Mm,
we both live in the same area, so Petaluma's it's a drive, but it's not too far where I can
mhm.
make a day. I would gladly take a day. I'll spend a day out there to help and volunteer, and I do different things like I'll shadow tours or I just help organize the collection and things like that. So it's pretty fun. So yeah, so it's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
It's you're not the first one who's mentioned that. So I'll be the Rancho Obi-Wan of San Jose.
Heck
Um,
yes. I love that. I went there like once. I've had the privilege of going once, and it was during
Mhm.
I want to say like the 2017 gala. Um and
Yeah.
Rancho Obi-Wan is a massive Star Wars fan collection with just like the coolest like set pieces, merchandise. It's just incredible, and it's up here in the Bay Area. But I went one year as like a guest for the gala, and it was just so much fun. And like just getting to walk through that collection was just like it was astounding. And they had just received the like some of the Rebels maquettes, so they had
Oh,
Ahsoka
yeah.
out there. Yeah, it was
So
like
cool. It's
mhm.
overwhelming, and I swear I've been there. I'm there quite a bit, and you can't clock in,
Mhm.
and you don't. It's just I'll see something, I'll be like, wow, is that new? And it's they're constantly rotating. So
Yeah.
they have a different set location where they just house all the stuff that's not displayed,
Mm.
which is
Oh
just
wow.
it's just incredible. It's inspiring every time I go. I mean, it just like fuels my passion. You know how like
Mm.
that feeling when you go to Star Wars Celebration and you come home,
Oh
you're just
yes.
pumped and you're just energetic, and it's just like it just fuels something. I mean, that's just me every time.
Oh
And it's just the best. And honestly, the people that are working there, is just amazing. Like the fact that I can like pick Steve Sansweet's like brain a little bit, and we're constantly just geeking out about collecting. It's just a dream. So I am fortunate. But yeah, please everyone make Rancho Obi-Wan part of a bucket list.
yes.
It's truly a place to be.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Like if you come up here and you want to see the Yoda statue, it's
Mhm.
absolutely worth making the like outward maybe drive out to Rancho
Yeah.
Obi-Wan because it is a museum of like Star Wars fandom, and that's what our podcast is all about, is just celebrating all of these amazing parts of our fandom. Back when I was working on looking for Leia, I learned so much about how different people like exercise their creativity in this fandom.
Mhm.
And so that's what led to this. And like now I'm just like, yay, it's talk with
Yeah.
cool Star
It's the
Wars fans all
best.
day. Yeah,
It's the
I
best.
love it.
Yeah, it's the best seeing what people really like, what they're passionate about, and how
Hmm.
they can kind of just tap that in to Star Wars, and it just like brightens up. It just opens up the world a little bit more, I feel like. And I mean, same thing for me when I started this Instagram account with just, sharing my thrift stuff,
Mm.
Star Wars. I happen to be like, I got to meet cosplayers or like artists
Mhm.
and like fanfic writers, and it's just like amazing. It's just like wow, like it's so cool to just get into fandom. It's just the best. It's just a plus for sure.
Love that. Thank you. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about your collection. Thank you, by the way, Endeavor Game On, for that awesome raid. Hi everybody. We're podcasting about Star Wars. I've got Star Wars Thrifting here with me, and we're about to talk about your awesome collection. So a lot of what you collect is like prequel era. But what kind of like inspired you to like get into collecting Star Wars memorabilia?
So it's so well, I just turned 35. So I was 10 years old when Phantom Menace came out. And
Yep.
I was I mean, we call ourselves the prequel kids, prequel babies, but Phantom
Mhm.
Menace, I was in elementary school, Attack of the Clones was middle school, and I got to experience Revenge of the Sith in high school. So I mean, Star Wars was just part of my upbringing. And
Mhm.
um I once I graduated high school and, got into my crazy 20s, I think I kind of like put Star Wars, really wasn't paying attention, focusing on Star Wars as much.
Mhm.
But it wasn't until Force Awakens came out in 2015 and just like the excitement of Star Wars coming back to theaters and, just it became just like this massive thing. Um, as we all remember. I, of course, being an adult, I was just like, oh, cool. I have adult money. Let's buy Star Wars stuff. I, I mean, I've always been someone who was always just at flea markets and garage sales. That's just part of like also my upbringing. My mom, she just loves to upcycle things. I mean, my mom was always picking up a piece of furniture and just like, refurbishing it, bringing it back to life.
Nice.
Since I can remember. I'm
Mhm.
from San Jose, so we have a big Vietnamese Mexican community. So we have one of the largest flea markets in San Jose, which
Mhm.
as a kid, we would go to the flea markets on Saturdays and on the weekends, not just to go shop, but it was just a community thing. There was, my grandparents just felt at home there. They were just, they were making the food that they missed back at home, or just
Mhm.
interacting with the people, but listening to the banda music, and that was always just a tradition going.
Mhm.
So flea markets, weekends, garage sales, that's just always been a part of me. But again, heading back into the hype of Force Awakens, um, I again was just really excited to, get back into collecting or just start collecting. But I found I while at the flea market, I saw this Jar Jar Binks doll that was like an alarm clock.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
gosh.
and there was something, it's like when people say they get the nostalgia feels, it's just like this fuzziness. It just kind of brings you back into like, I mean, I was just transformed to like a 10-year-old and just like
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I was probably too young to actually really understand merchandising and collectibles when I was 10. I just
Mhm.
know that, but so it just brought me back and I just thought, wow, that is really cool. So that was I picked that up instantly. And it was probably and then it just it just started ever since. I mean, it was the Jar Jar Binks alarm clock.
That's amazing. I was gonna ask you about your first piece, and like I love that first piece was Jar Jar. Like that's oh my
So
god. Look at him.
So this is an alarm clock, believe it or not. So
Wow.
the whole thing about this Jar Jar Binks piece is
Mhm.
you're supposed to snuggle with it and go to bed and sleep, but
Mhm.
also it will let you know, like, hey, it also will make noise when it's time to wake up.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's
Yeah, so it's
amazing.
my first thing. It's my baby. It's
Oh,
probably I have a think I have a picture on somewhere on my social media where I was taken at like it was 2015. That's just a picture of me with this Jar Jar Binks thing, and it just like completely.
I love that.
It's
Like
the best.
the prequel merchandise was just like
It's
some of the
crazy.
coolest, weirdest stuff in the
It's the
world. Just like
best. Yeah.
that is a cloth doll that has
Yeah.
like an
An alarm
alarm clock
clock.
setting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
It's so wild, but I mean, I understand. I mean, you think about it, it's like, okay, well, it's a stuffy of your friend, but the kids can, you can sleep with your pal, and then he'll let you know when
Mhm.
it's time to head up to go to school. So, but yeah, this is
Yeah.
my first one.
Oh.
Um, and yeah, so when I saw it, I was just like, wow, Jar Jar Binks. Like it just clicked, and like it just clicked. Like, wow, hello.
Yeah.
I was raised with some of the best Star Wars, and
Mm.
then here we are, years later, and I'm just like, oh, I need to get more Jar Jar stuff. So that's kind of how it started.
I love that. I love that it reminds me of that like one shot of George Lucas where he's like Jar Jar is the key to all of this. And
100%. I strongly believe that. Yeah.
I love that. Like I was a prequel kid. We're
Yeah.
basically the same age. I'm like a couple months older than you. But yeah, I grew up in the same era, and it was always like really interesting pieces like that. Like I had a droid like room guard that was also a laser tag like thing. Like it
Yeah.
just like could sense, and you had like a little blaster, like a little Naboo blaster, and it was like the most fun I ever had just like playing around my room because of that like that key that was like that unique merchandising growing up with the prequels. So
It was the unique merchandising, and also I just feel like I don't know, like just toys in the 90s. I think just the 90s, just like in general, like just popped
mhm.
off. Pop culture, toys, everything was just like, I mean, just brighten up our childhood. I feel like, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny because I think some of the best Star Wars, well, prequel merchandise, I feel like it's just the things that really tie into a lot of the 90s, like a lot of the collabs, right? So like
Mhm.
um what's really like I feel like what was really popular in the 80s and 90s were like the Tiger handhelds,
Oh
like the
yeah, the little one-off video
right, the
games.
little one-off video games. Uh,
Yeah.
someone actually I had someone who actually follows my Instagram is kind enough to send me some Phantom Menace merch that no
Oh,
longer wanted, but that was included was a lightsaber. It was Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber,
wow.
but it was like a handheld, so you can kind of play yeah. And it was like the last duel, but I mean, again, it was just like a quick. I don't know. It's a really quick game, but it's
Yeah.
just really funny. Just like it just really transformed you, like it to like that setting, like to like 90s, early 2000s era. It's really
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think like in general, we were just as kids, we were expected to like be out and about more
Mhm.
often. So like
Yeah.
a lot of the toys and games were like that. Like we were supposed expected to be sitting in the back of our parents' cars. So that's why I think the Tiger like handhelds came about in the first place was just like let's
Mhm.
keep this kid busy.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be in like doctor's offices and stuff like that. Let's just make
For
sure that they've
sure.
got something entertaining them. But yeah, that's amazing. Well, could you tell us about like your because I know you've had some really good finds lately. Could you tell us about your favorite piece in your collection right now?
That's the hardest question, and it changes. It
Hmm.
changes because I
Yeah.
was just on a podcast recently, and they asked me the same question. So it's answer I'm going to give you is completely different.
Nice.
Because it just changes. I actually was just admiring this the other day.
Hmm.
Um, it was I have in my collection, and it was crazy. It's wild to even think about, but I have the actual official Lucasfilm promotional banner of Attack of the Clones. Uh,
What?
it's huge. It covers my entire wall in my garage. It's
Ah.
incredibly huge. It's not a reprint. It's an actual vinyl banner.
Hmm.
On the tag in the back, it says "property of Luke." It doesn't say property. It pretty much says this is an official Lucasfilm promotional item.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's pretty official. It's huge. It's the banner that has Anakin on one side and Padme on the other side.
Oh, it's
And
the one with like their profile
yes, their
shots.
face,
Yeah.
yeah. And the reason why I think it's my favorite piece, and it always it's when I saw Attack of the Clones walking out of the movie theater, I felt like my life was changed in a way
Mm.
because
Yeah.
I talk about Phantom Menace, and it's great. It's the first Star Wars movie I got to experience in theaters, and it was amazing. But I felt like Attack of the Clones just really just solidified that I really loved this galaxy, and
Hmm.
I just made me realize like, wow, this is real. So I remember why I almost just remember the day walking out of that movie theater after experiencing like just some incredible, I mean, I'm an incredible movie. To this day, I still love it. And I just remember seeing this big old banner on top of our the AMC theater, and I just thought, wow, that was really cool. One of the best summers. Summer
Amazing.
2002. So it's
Hmm.
just, it's just a feeling that I have. Like I remember that feeling I felt, and I remember that summer. Um, so to kind of have like just a little piece of that in my collection is really special.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that like growing up and being the perfect age for each of these movies was
Mhm.
so vital to like why we love it so much because
Yes.
like I came out of Attack of the Clones and I remember I was like hyped. I was excited. I loved the Obi-Wan plot line. Like I loved the romance between Padme and Anakin. Like I loved it. And then like I logged online and I saw all these like older folks who were not so happy with it. But I was a young girl reading young adult novels at that time and like
Mhm.
that was perfect for me.
Yeah.
It was exactly the level of like romance and adventure
Mhm.
and action that like I wanted out of a Star Wars movie. I got everything I wanted out of that. Like we had a giant Jedi battle, people got to kiss, Obi-Wan looked really hot in the rain, like
Absolutely. There
everything.
there's just nothing. I again, it's just some of the best.
Mhm.
I remember, I mean, that I honestly, that Geonosis arena scene just
Oh my god.
blew me away when I was, you know, I don't know, 13, whenever it came out, but it was just like the most
Mhm.
incredible stuff. And I even like wanted, me and my sisters were in the parking lot just with their fake air lightsabers,
Yes.
just going nuts. I think my parents took us to like Chevy's after to go like get lunch after the movie. We
Mhm.
were just in the parking lot, just like we were just all like just blown away by it. And yeah, so I always feel like Attack of the Clones is just like an important movie for
Mhm.
me. And to this day, I still just love it and adore it. So yeah, so every time I look at that banner, it's just wow, can't believe I have this in my garage. But it
Mhm.
takes me back to a time, just a special place. I mean, I was young with my sisters and my parents, gonna go see it. Went to go see a Star Wars movie on a Saturday afternoon. It's just what can get better than that?
Honestly, oh my god, I love that. I love hearing like those stories because like I said, but I feel like we were surrounded by a lot of negativity, but like
Yeah.
our interpretation was so much different and like
Mhm.
being able to like relive that excitement with like my friends is just so it's such a perfect feeling. I love it. So what I did want to ask you was what would you are there any like rare unique items in your collection that are just like wow, like, I can't believe I found this.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna kind of state the big one that I feel like everyone kind of knows.
Mhm.
I have a Pepsi collection, the Pepsi soda machine,
Mhm.
the Phantom Menace Pepsi soda machine, the one with Anakin and Sebulba.
Yes.
Um,
Oh,
and
best guy, there we go.
that I
Uh-huh.
have that in my garage, y'all. And
Mm.
the that's probably the most unique. It's a thing that you feel like in your mind, you're just like, oh, I would love to have that, but you just can't fathom like ever coming
Right.
across something like that and it now being in your possession. Um, yeah, so the soda machine is that's a pretty big one to
How did
top, to
you
be
like come
honest.
across that? Was that like
Oh
on
my goodness.
Facebook or
Yeah, so it was on Facebook Marketplace. And for
wow.
those, who may not know, who don't have that's the only reason I keep a Facebook around, to be honest, because
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
just for the marketplace. So you can, people will, give, sell things, give things away and stuff like that. And it's like an ad place, like a Craigslist, whatever. So on Facebook Marketplace, a friend of mine sent me this link,
Mm,
and it didn't say anything Star Wars. It was just soda machines. Um,
wow.
you know, so as I'm scrolling through the ninth page
Mhm.
of all these random soda machines, it was the Phantom Menace. Because I was like, why is he sending me this? It
Right.
was a Phantom Menace soda machine.
Oh
And
my god.
um I panicked. I panicked. It was just adrenaline just I don't even know how to explain like my body reaction. It was some sort of reaction. But
Right.
then I messaged the person. I said, "Hey, is how much are your soda machines?" And um in particular, how much is the one? I didn't want to come off as too like a too like fanatic who's really thirsty for the soda machine, get it, thirsty.
Mhm.
But like I didn't want to come off as really thirsty and just
Right.
because they might be like, oh, we can. So that's why I wanted to ask, like, how much in general are all them like. I don't want to. I didn't want it to because they might just jack up the price and
Right.
oh, wants a specific one. I'll just I'll name a higher price.
Mhm.
But so come to find out that the person who was selling these, he used to own a beverage company. So he has a
Oh,
warehouse of his old machines, and he's just
right.
like, I need to get rid of them. So he's like, oh, so he's like, well, which one do you want? I said, the one on the ninth page.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah, that one. I didn't want to be like the Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer one. What was it? Again, I just needed to just, really just chill out a little bit. And then
Mhm.
it's like, okay, well, we talked about it. And after I said, well, I was actually scheduled to go out of town that week. I said, I'm going out of town this week, but I'm coming back next week. I can come pick it up. Mind you, it
Mhm.
was like an hour and a half away from me, but I was gonna make it work no matter what. Um, he said, okay, not a problem.
Mhm.
So that whole week and a half, I even left my number. I said, hey, here's my number. I'm really serious about this. Like, I really want to make this happen. And
Mhm.
uh, it was just, I honestly, every day I was just messaging this person and be like, hey, just let you know, we're still on, we're still good. Like, I just
Mhm.
really, I've been burned before where
Right. Yeah.
I, a deal's not a deal until that machine is in my possession and I'm driving home with it. It can go, someone can pick it up tomorrow or,
Yeah.
it's just so, yeah, it was probably the most stressful week and a half of my life
Mm.
because I was just like, please, this is an insane opportunity. So the story is that like he's just really just trying to get a soda machines because if not, he's just gonna go and like they're gonna go and crush it and throw it away. So he's just
Right.
trying to get rid of his inventory.
Mhm.
So I got really fortunate and because if I had not picked this up, just the thought of this machine being just scrap metal
Mhm.
it's disturbing to me.
Yeah.
So I
Oh
had
my
to go pick
gosh.
this thing up. And let me tell you, picking up a half-ton machine is not easy. Um, I don't know my way around any appliance like machine mover. I don't know anything about that. I was just like, let me just go. You can't just show up in a truck to go pick this up.
Yeah.
You have the good thing they had a lift and they were able to lift it on. We had to rent a certain truck for this,
Mhm.
live with a lift gate to you know it
Yeah.
was quite the adventure. That's a whole other story. There was a story. It was an adventure to get that thing, and then drive it back, and then putting it in my garage is just almost like a 2-day thing.
I remember like the chronicle of it and like watching it happen on Twitter. I was just like, this is what did she get? Like, because I remember when
I
you
think I
first
hyped it
said, like,
up.
oh, I got it, you like teased it for a little while, and like a bunch of us were like, what in the world has
Yeah.
this woman acquired? And like,
Yeah.
then out of nowhere, like, there were photos of it on a truck, and it was like, what? Like,
You know what? It's so funny because because I was hyping it up because that week, because I was like, I
yeah.
maybe got something, dot, dot, dot. And
Hmm.
then everyone, then everybody was just, so for the whole week. And I was just like, okay, on my way. And then
Hmm.
it got so much traction. I'm like, oh, that's going to be really unfortunate if I disappoint everyone. So I was just like,
Oh
oh
no.
no, maybe because I was just like, maybe I don't want to disappoint anyone, but I'm so glad.
Hmm.
I honestly like, uh, and that's why I like doing this. It's really fun for me to share things like this because that's just, you're just sharing it with. I mean, I don't know why would I doubt that people were not going to be excited for this? It's just like,
Oh
this
yeah.
is a win for all of us.
Yeah, I remember like the collective excitement of just like
Yeah.
seeing it happen. It was just like, like it's like you had actually just picked up Sebulba's Pod Racer. Like
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
that was the level
Yeah.
of like magnitude.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's a lot of fun. So what would you say is like the holy grail, like the one thing you don't have yet that like you absolutely must have before you die?
That is so hard to really, after this machine, I just don't know.
Mhm.
So I not only do I have a machine, I have an actual pod race arcade cabinet
Yeah,
in
oh
my,
my god.
so I
Oh.
just have insanely just certain things that I'm just like, I don't think I should be asking or even thinking about anything else. But
Mm,
if people were to say, all right, you can pick one thing, here's whatever money you want, pick it up.
right.
My holy grail for me now is this Watto Pepsi. Um, it was part of the Pepsi promotion, but it's like this actual size Watto,
Oh, I know
and
exactly which one you're talking about.
I have the Yoda one, but I want the Watto one, because
Yeah.
the way the Watto is, they have it on almost like, it's like he's hanging, like he's kind of floating, and I just think
Mhm.
I would just love that in my collection, and just have just Watto just like hanging out there.
Yeah.
So that's for me. That's really what I really, really. That's kind of just my holy grail
There's
currently.
a
Again, that's just an answer that changes almost. It'll be different
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, have you ever been down to San Diego Comic-Con before?
No, I have not. That's a bucket list for
So
me.
there is a Ralph's down there. If you ever get
Okay.
down there, every year they put out all sorts of like superhero stuff and all that, but they also put out the Pepsi promo stuff. And the reason I remember that Watto is because they have two. So I don't know if I don't know, but like that's the only place I've ever seen it. And they always have it out. Like they always preserve it and put it back out. And there's one on either side of the store by the doors. So I don't know if you can schmooze it or what, but that's where I know they live.
When I was visiting some friends in on the East Coast, and they took me to some comic book store, and they
Mhm.
had a Watto, but like they had him in clothes, and I just thought, wow, that is the best. Like he had like a McDonald's apron on,
Oh
and
my
I'm just like,
god.
he had like a Ghostbusters hat. I'm just like, that is so cool. You can even dress Watto. So I was
Right?
just like,
He's like a little Barbie.
well, yes, I can just dress Watto. I'm also going to say another holy grail piece for me, and I'm honestly, I look on eBay every night when I'm in bed,
Mhm.
is the C3PO tape dispenser. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't. Oh man. Let me see if I can look it up.
Look it up.
See
It's just put 3PO tape dispenser. It's
tape
this it's a
dispenser.
vintage tape dispenser.
Oh my god, wow.
That's
That's
certainly,
provocative.
yes, I
Okay.
love it.
Hold on. I'm gonna get because he's like straddling like this
Oh, it's
thing.
it's a thing.
That's amazing. Holy cannolis. Let
Yeah.
me, come on, thing, download. Of course, you're a file I can't use here. Hold on. Let's see. Are you a JPEG? You're a JPEG. Yeah, dude. All right. Let me upload this for the viewers because it is incredible. Hold on. Oh, come on. 1 second. But yeah,
Well,
it's like a, I don't know why it's doing this. Every time I need my computer to function, it's like, no, actually, I don't feel like it.
well, if
Oh,
you
I see
guys,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably I look at this every night, so that's a good.
Oh my God. Look at that. It's, and his like, his mouth is like wide
His
open. He
mouth is
looks
open, and then like
stunned.
and then I just love like his hands are on his knees.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Oh
a
my
thing, and it's a
God.
tape dispenser, so you just have to go and like pull the tape out.
Yeah.
So it's it's honestly just I think it's just honestly like some of the first ever like Star Wars stuff is just like merchandise. It's just really it's really funny.
Yeah.
It's just the best. But yeah, that's a good one that I would love to have. I would love to find it at the flea market.
Mm.
That would just be a steal. They're pretty pricey on eBay, but
Yeah.
I'm constantly that's my little that's kind of what I wish I would have.
Oh my goodness. I love it. This is amazing. Hold on.
I wouldn't even have it on my desk. I just feel like I would
Another
have it
shot
like
of it.
on my coffee table, or I would just have
Right.
yeah. See, and also look at the soap. Is that
Like,
is it like
and
a soap tray or is it
I think
just
it's, yeah, I think it's like a
there's different
tray.
cheese
Yeah.
there?
I love that. That's, I mean, that's like the one thing we're really missing from modern day Star Wars merch is like there's nothing like weird, you know?
I
Like,
love weird merchandise. Like for me,
uh,
that's just like it's just some of the best stuff. Like
yeah.
I love it because I just and then we okay. Let's talk about the weird merchandise. Like we'll
Yeah.
talk about the Jar Jar Binks tongue,
Yeah.
the lollipop tongue.
Oh
Like
my
it's just
God.
like being imagine being in those meetings. You're just like okay, we got to come up with something, y'all, and then it's just like the 3PO dispenser, and then the Jar Jar Binks tongue is just some of like the weird merchandise.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
but
loved
yeah,
it. Like I'm in marketing right now and like I fully credit like the prequel marketing campaign and like merchandising campaign to as to like what drove my career cuz like I wanted to be in those rooms making those decisions and
yeah.
being like, yeah, let's just do like a
Let's do
Jar Jar
it.
candy song. Why not? Like,
Why
yeah,
not?
let's do
Yeah.
it. We need more underoos. Let's, what can we put on an underoo? Like, let's go for it. That's, oh, that's so cool. Have you, okay.
I would
Yeah.
love for them to make Underoos now
Oh my God.
for
I
all of
think there
us.
was like a very small collection in like 2015. And I know because they like sent me some with like R2D2. And unfortunately, he is like fully faded off of those Honoroos now. But like it was like a cute little collection. Like they reprinted the like 1970s like 3PO with like the chest plate top and like little yellow underwear and stuff. But
Oh,
like
yes.
we need some more under, like the acolyte is coming around the corner.
Oh my
I want
goodness.
some High Republic underoos
That would
real
just be
bad.
so much fun. That would be fantastic.
I'm very excited for that. Like there's a lot of like potential merchandising that I'm very, very hyped for. And I just like hope it happens because
I hope so too.
like my wallet doesn't hope so, but I hope
Yeah. My
so.
wallet's saying, "Stop it, please. You can't. There's
Oh
no
my
more."
God. She is tired and now like they're bringing back Ventress and I'm like, "Oh, it'd be so
Oh, I
cool
know.
if they brought her ship back and made it like a $300 Lego set, like I'd still buy it." I'm
Yeah.
ridiculous, man.
I know. We need more Assange merch because
We do.
yeah.
Yeah. I
We
have
yeah.
like my
Yeah, I
little
was like, "What
weird
do you have?" I
pieces
was like,
here.
"Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah."
But yeah, I fully agree. I'm, and especially like new Asajj merch. But this is not about my obsession. It's about yours. How would you say?
I love hearing everyone's obsessions though.
Me too. I mean, that's why I made the show. Like I want to talk to my friends about like all of the things that bring them joy and like all of the little Star Wars things that brighten up their days. So
Yeah.
that's the entire reason I made this. And it's also just cuz like I want to talk to my friends. So
Yeah.
big good excuse for that.
For sure.
So how would you say your passion for Star Wars has like influenced other parts of your life?
I feel like honestly, it's just made me more comfortable being me.
Yeah.
Um, where I think maybe growing up, I really didn't fully embrace my geeky side as I probably wished I wished I should have
Mm.
or hoped for. I don't know. I was just, I was
Yeah.
growing up and just kind of wanted to, I just really was just fixated on what other people perceived me as and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I will say, being 35 now, I am probably, and, having this little passion that I have for Star Wars that I still do. I mean, I just um connects me to, again, like I talked about earlier, how just important it was, for my upbringing and stuff.
Mm.
I honestly just feel just so at peace with myself because
Oh.
I just feel like it's just a huge part of me, and I feel like I've fully been able to embrace it and just, you know, show it off and just be really, really comfortable with myself about it. So it's allowed me
Mm.
also to make more friends, which is always a fun thing for me. I never really, the fact that like internet friends are like real, it's great. It's the best. I love that. So it's
Mhm.
really enriched my life in that area. But honestly, um, my passion for Star Wars has just made me really just more just, I don't know, just comfortable and, happier in my own skin.
Yeah.
I just had a birthday party. It was just really fun to see all like my family and friends just come in and just like kind of like just they would, even if, like my uncle, he showed up in a Star Wars shirt. He's like, "Hey, check out my shirt," and it was just like, oh, like
Oh.
and it's just like, and I don't, and it's not like they ever made me feel like I couldn't. I just maybe
Mhm.
I don't know if I projected that out on myself, and yeah, so I want to say that, yeah, for sure, but it's just made me just, I don't know, just really just be more comfortable, I guess,
Yeah, that's
with it for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm like glad that it's kind of driven you to like create this collection and this presence online because obviously like we've met and become friends because of it. And it's also kind of like I think it's opened up some really cool doors for you, not just with Rancho Obi-Wan, but leading into the next topic of our discussion, you were recently over at the Letterman campus for the Bad Batch premiere. So how did that all go? Because we're about to talk about the Bad Batch, but I want to know about like your experience on the day.
That was a really fun day.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't even know, like it's so wild to just have opportunities just kind of come up, and I'm extremely
Mhm.
grateful, and I don't never take that for granted, obviously. But it's just, yeah, I was really fortunate enough to get an invite to head over to Lucasfilm, which is, again, it's not a bad travel day for me. It's just a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
So I was able to go after work. I took my little sister with me. She
Oh.
was my plus one.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, we headed up to the Presidio. It was really fun. We had a great time. I love watching Star Wars on the big screen. I love watching it with other fans. I just think that it just heightens the experience, and it just
Mhm.
I don't know, I was just crying throughout watching the episodes because every time
Oh.
that Lucasfilm title card appears and just like the crowds, like, everyone cheers. It's just so much fun. I was able to, see friends who, who traveled to be a part of it. So it's just a really, really good, just full of good vibes. Uh,
Mhm.
there was new Star Wars. The new Star Wars was back, so everyone was just really excited for it. Seeing some amazing cosplayers is always just a fun time.
Mhm.
It was really fun for me. I was able to take my sister, who on the drive up there, I was trying to fill her in on the Bad Batch. Like,
Right.
she was going for a date night, and I was just kind of filling her in on what the Bad Batch was and stuff like that. So it was really fun for me to sit in my seat with our friends, and then my sister just experiencing the emotions with me. And like
Oh.
every time, like when I was stressed out and what was happening on screen, she was stressed out, and I knew she was locked in. Which
I love it.
I can, which I'm really proud to say is that she actually went home and she blew through the first 2 episodes, so she's officially
Nice.
caught up with the Bad Batch.
Mhm.
Currently Hunter and Crosshair are just her faves. So
Nice.
we're yeah, so she's caught up, and that was really fun for me. But yeah, overall a great time, full of good vibes. They had a
Mhm.
really nice event for the fan screening. It was just afterwards there was a panel Kristen Baber hosted,
Nice.
and yeah, so they brought D. Bradley Breaker and Jennifer Corbett, and it was like honestly, it was just a fun little panel afterwards.
Hmm.
And it's just like, wow, this season's ending, and it just makes me really sad and a little stressed as to what may unfold. But overall, a great evening and just full of good vibes, fun times.
Yeah. I I love like I love like I've been very privileged to get to go to multiple Star Wars premieres, and that like it just feels like at premieres, at things like the Rancho Obi-Wan Gala, at any like gathering that we're all like fortunate enough to come to, there's this like feeling of like what a lot of us like to call like a mini Star Wars celebration, because like you get to see all of these like familiar faces, and you get to like meet people that like you had followed online and like forged these relationships with, and then you get to go in the theater and experience Star Wars with a crowd. And it's just like it's unfortunate that it's such a rare feeling, but like it brings me back to watching the prequels and like having those like crowd reactions where like we all feel the same thing. We're all like drawn to the screen, and then afterwards like we've shared that experience. So
Hmm.
I love that stuff.
It's
That's
the
amazing.
best. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you mentioned like this is the last season of the Bad Batch, and it all like it's really this is marking the end of what we essentially know as like the prequel era, you know? Like this is we're now a couple, I want to say like maybe a year off of Revenge of the Sith, where
Hmm.
they are right now. Maybe more. I don't know how time works in Star Wars, but we're not too far, but we're far enough for it to be like this is the transition from like where we were in the Republic to like now the Empire is like serious business. It's the law of the land. And like I I'd love to get like your thoughts on like the mood and feel as we move into that era with these episodes.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned before, I'm a little stressed. I'm
Mm.
worried.
Mhm.
I was brought to tears watching the first 3 episodes just because it's just a really, I don't know, it just feels very heavy.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, it should be. It's a very heavy time in the galaxy, and to experience that with, you know, some characters that you've really grown to love and be a
Mhm.
part of. It's just and just the whole transitional part of like the empire and just how like real and scary and just it could be. But this season feels heavy. It feels like almost like every scene was and everything that I've seen so like I how I interpreted seen so far. I feel like not a moment is wasted. I feel
Mhm.
everything that we're seeing is just not, yeah, I mean, every minute counts, and just the conversations, like, I mean, just some of the stuff that Omega, like just the conversations with Omega and Crosshair were just like just hitting it for me. I mean, just knocking out of the park. I mean, um but yeah, I just feel like a sense of like dread, and I think that's how we should be feeling
Yeah.
because of where again, just like the state of the galaxy and where it's heading. And it's just a really sad time. I mean, it's like you said, it's the end of like the prequel era. It's like we're phasing out
Mhm.
clones. I mean, the Clone Wars have given us like amazing characters just by with the clones. And
Mhm.
it's just a really like, just really sad, position to be in, to see just, yeah, I mean, just yeah, just kinda like the end of that era.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like moving with these characters that had like they, say for Omega, almost everyone we've watched in this series so far has like been there from the beginning of the Clone Wars. They went through that, and like now they have to learn how to survive without like the structures and lifestyles that they had before. And like
Mhm.
in even worse circumstances. But I love that you mentioned how intense it seems, because it's like it's so subtle in the way the characters act. Like I think one of the most interesting new characters so far is Emery Carr.
Yeah.
Because the way that she reacts to Omega, like she has been living her life the same way for a super long time.
Mhm.
She's expressed that she's been given a chance by Dr. Hemlock to have like this opportunity to work on this like massive project. But like in meeting Omega, much like Crosshair and every person who meets Omega, like something has
Yeah.
changed in her. And like you, in these first 3 episodes, you see her make this like drastic character change, but the way it's portrayed is so subtle that like when you get to it, you're like, holy cannolis! Like Emery like could very well betray the Empire by the end of this
Hmm.
season and like
Yeah.
leave, you know,
Yeah.
if she's lucky.
I know.
Don't kill Emery.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, and I also just love the way that like we've expanded on like what clone technology is and like who like can be a clone, because I know we've had, with Emery and Omega, we have like femme presenting clones. We also have like a trans femme clone
Hmm.
from the novels, and it's
The
just
book.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just changed the way that I kind of have viewed these characters since I was a teenager, not really, an older teenager, college student.
Yeah.
But for like a chunk of my life, like I don't know, being 35 is like, how
Yeah.
long have I been 25? Like,
So true.
yeah, I'm so interested in like how, with Crosshair and Omega ultimately like going back toward the Bad Batch and hopefully having a reunion. Like I'm just so interested in seeing like what how they're going to make themselves work as a unit, and how they're going to do so with like that glaring uh like hole in their like hearts where tech is supposed to be. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's gonna be really I know. I'm kind of yeah, I mean I think I'm that's kind of just where I'm really interested to see and like seeing like Crosshair having to come to terms with, you know, all this time that he spent away from his brothers and, maybe
Mhm.
the guilt that comes with it, but also just like you didn't get to have a chance to even reconcile, have a reconciliation with one of them. And
Mhm.
that is really hard and difficult. So that's going to be really interesting to, that's kind of like what I don't know, like for me, that's what I really enjoy, about just any type of story is what, just kind of like, how the characters like handle and choose a deal because it's just so relatable and it's so close to our own lives and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, seeing that's going to be really exciting for me to see just kind of how they choose to kind of go from there, like
Mhm.
how do they become a unit and will they be any pushback and stuff like that. So that's going to be really, but Emery Carr is surprisingly someone who I'm just like, I'm really interested. Like I
Mhm.
just got, yeah, that is really because she gave Omega back the doll. I was like, all right,
Yep. Yeah. That was just like
okay,
step where I was like, something has loosened in
okay,
you.
okay. I like this. I like
Mhm.
where we're going.
Yeah, I just love that like just a little hint of like family, or a little hint of like, I don't know, love just kind of like changes people so
It does.
radically
Hmm.
in these like very very dark war times. So like I just
Hmm.
it's going to be an intense but
Ah,
hopefully like really fulfilling season. Like I know like everyone's excited about something. I'm excited about a specific thing.
oh, oh, do
I,
we know?
oh,
You're the
do we
first
know?
person I thought.
Dude, I mean, I've been talking about it like every episode. I'm probably going to talk about it for the rest of my life. But like, I feel like Ventress coming back in this series in particular is so perfectly poetic, just because of like the way that like the Bad Batch is surviving, and the way they've essentially like cheated death is like something that I think like, Ventress could not only relate to them with, but is just so close to and like keen to her story. And then also this like hint that like Omega has like the Force, like maybe like
Yeah,
them count, and like now we have this like cranky old lady who's like really good with the Force coming in,
I
and
know. I know. Oh my
I
goodness.
the possibilities, dude. Like
It's
I like to joke that, one day like Ray comes across old lady Ventress and she becomes like a cranky mentor on her list of mentors. But
oh, I love that. Oh, I love
like I
that.
would just love just to have some kind of involvement in like whatever developmental thing
Yeah.
Omega's going through. Because like when Omega was like first introduced, I remember specifically she had her light bow, and I like zeroed in on that because I was like, that looks like the same kind of light bow that the Night Sisters use. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh, that's a cool little detail. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like what could that spell out? Is that like foreshadowing? Like, come on. Like, and I just like want to shake everyone that I know at Lucasfilm and go like, how long have you known this? How long have you kept
Yeah,
this from
I
me?
know. Tell us everything.
Tell me
I know.
everything.
You're the
I just
first
love it.
person you're the first person I thought of when I feel like everyone felt that same way. I was like, I'm sure your phone was blown up, being like, "Did you
Immediately.
see?"
I was in the middle of dishes, and like our friend Arzu from the QB
Yeah.
Waffle, like she was the first person to text me, and she was like, drop everything you're doing and watch the Bad Batch trailer right now. And I just remember going like, no,
Yeah, you hear the
no,
voice. I know. It's just like almost like
no.
impossible to even yeah. It's it's so good. I
Oh
hope we don't
my
have to wait
god.
too long, but I mean, oh, I know, I'm so excited.
I'll be patient, but like I
Yeah.
hope it's not too long. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do when it happens. Just gonna
Oh,
like
I
dance around my living
know.
room, watch the episode like 30 times, do a
We're all gonna
special.
have to
Like,
check on you, see
yeah.
if you're alive.
It's just amazing. Like
It is, that's
the
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
like the I love that like we have this opportunity too, because like if you're, you're women in Star Wars don't always get the best end of the stick.
for
And a
sure.
lot of them end up like dying in
Yeah.
sacrifice of like a man's story. And so
Mhm.
like I've been on
Mhm.
my Delulu train for like what, like since 2015, so like almost 10 years, like almost a decade. I've been on this Delulu train of like there's no way Ventress is dead. They buried her in a magic lake. She is a magic witch, like she'll be
Yeah.
back.
She's
um
exactly. She's a
and
night
everyone was
sister,
like,
hello.
haha, Katrina, you're so funny, blah blah blah, she
Yeah.
sacrificed herself. Psych.
Yeah.
um
Good. Yeah.
she's back.
Yep.
And who knows, maybe she'll drag Tech back from the dead with her. Like, men have come back from like more ridiculous things in
Oh, of
Star
course,
Wars,
it's
like,
Star Wars. Until we
yeah.
see, like, a forest ghost or a body, like, I don't
He
it
faded
doesn't
into the sky.
it doesn't count, yes.
I don't think he's dead. I don't think he's dead. I want him to come back and give Fee like a big old kiss,
Oh,
and just be happy.
that's another thing. You
Oh,
just give me a kiss. That's
like
all I
I need it.
wanted.
I don't know what I'm gonna do like when we see Fee again, because like that island was mentioned in the episode
Oh,
with
I
like the
know
little
that
crones.
that island was mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
for the cadets, right? The
Yeah, yeah, the little regs. So I'm like, "Ah, I can't wait till she comes back." Like it's it's gonna be a tough, like emotional season, I'm sure, but I'm also just
Yeah.
like, I'm so happy my family is coming back. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
No, it's the best. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I know. I get when I remember when Clone Wars season 7 came out, and just
Mm,
like it just everything feels so different. The
yeah.
music, I mean, the kinders are just popping off with the music. And this is like
Oh
the
my
first 3
god.
episodes. Like you just feel it. And even just I mean, the animation is just so beautiful. It just gets better each time. And it just feels
Mhm.
so epic already. And I just get like that the last clone work of the last arc
Yeah.
of Clone Wars. I just get that
Mhm.
vibe. And I'm just like, oh, I just feel like this is huge.
I love it. Like that first arc was absolutely like it was a film on its own, really. And I
Mhm.
think the pacing for it was beautiful. Like the way that they kind of measured time, like that callback with Omega scratching the wall, just like Ray scratched the
Aw,
wall in Force
yeah,
Awakens. Like it was just so expertly done, and I'm so amazed by like what Jennifer Corbett and that team did. Like it just, it hit so well. So
so good.
I'm I'm so excited. Oh my God, we're like what, 48 hours away almost from
Oh, I know.
another episode. So I'm
Another
just like,
episode.
like I'm so excited. But yeah, I'm excited to do that. I'm so excited that you were able to come on the show today. Thank you so much for making the time and being here. And where on the internet can our friends find you?
Yeah, you can find me on the internet where Star Wars thriftings are sold. I'm on Instagram. That's where I'm kind of
Mhm.
most active on Instagram. At Star Wars Thrifting, Star Wars underscore thrifting.
Cool.
Especially on the weekends. If you can go on my Instagram on the weekends, I'm just constantly posting my stories of just like me at the flea market. So you'll get like real, uh, just real time action of me doing the thing. I'm on, what are we calling this? X, Twitter? I
Mhm.
don't know. I'm on there on Star Wars Thrift. So check me
Nice.
out. I'm also on me and my friend Riley have a podcast called Into the Garbage Chute, and we're covering the Bad Batch. So if you want more of Bad Batch thoughts, check us out. It's a little yeah, it's a fun podcast with my friend, and we have a great time.
Yay.
It's called Into the Garbage Chute. We are just two. We just there's no format. We're just there messing around, and it's a garbage chute. It's messy. It's chaotic. So come
I
join
love that.
us.
I love garbage.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's wild. Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. So I was like,
Well,
describe your podcast. It's like my podcast is like two girls after who go to the happy hour and just kind of just talk about life in Star Wars. So that's
I
that's
love
that's the gist
that.
of it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Silver, for joining me today and talking about your collection and the Bad Batch and the prequels and all this wonderful stuff. I will. Oh yeah, me. Hi, I'm OHCATRINA, your host. You can find me anywhere on the internet if you look for OHCATRINA. You put O in front of my name here, OH, and then you'll find me anywhere.
Yeah.
And and we'll be back in 2 weeks to recap more episodes of Bad Batch and have another really awesome Star Wars fan on to talk about their awesome Star Wars fandom. But until then, may the force be with you and fly casual, my friends. Ta ta.